I absolutely love the way these layouts layer together. What I want to do now is go over all the embellishments so that if you want to do it the same way I have, you can. We put down the October 31st, and then of course we put down the skull and made him a fancy collar. We made the hat and popped it jauntily on the top of his head. The things that I probably haven't talked about in other videos is I put this die-cut spider web up here in this right corner. I pop dotted this ephemera piece, that's the finger pointing to the skull. And then I felt like our scene here needed an owl. So I took this, it's a piece of ephemera, and I put him on the top of this layout. Inside, over here on the right flap, I took that cut apart card, I scored it a half inch from the top and made it into a top flap and added these stickers. This moon and star, a starburst, and a little blue star. In the center, I put down this photo mat, and I've got this cool costume this year, Halloween Adventure in Progress sticker, little twine through the sticker hole. Up here in the top left corner, I put down, this is a piece of, these are both ephemera, this striped flag and Candy Feast and Tired Kids ephemera. And then this bat is a piece of ephemera. And of course, I adhered him on, did not put adhesive underneath the areas that cover the photo mat. Over here on the left page, I've got this cool butterfly piece of ephemera. And again, I've not put adhesive down where it covers the photo mat. The ephemera pieces, wild costumes, trick or treat, and then these stars are ephemera. Going on to Project 1. This is the left page of Project 1 now. Notice that I put some moons and stars on the back of this owl, just because it was there. This is one of the cut apart cards, just a tiny card, flying witch. I corner rounded the corners. I layered this striped sticker underneath it, and then I pop dotted this witch. And I've got these stars are ephemera pieces. This cool ticket ephemera piece, I sliced it in half lengthwise, and I tucked it under the photo mat just a bit, little bit on one side, little bit on the other. And then this green, that was, it must have been ephemera also. This little green tag, and I just sliced a little bit off of one side, and this side is a little thicker. This piece back behind this ticket is a piece of ephemera that I trimmed off a little bit and stuck it under there. Love this little boy with the pumpkin. I pop dotted him. He's a piece of ephemera. And then this So Much Candy is a sticker. Now the right page for Project 1, we've done a lot of this together. I've got the window adhered to this flap. I put, oh, one thing I wanted to go back. I did cover this with a heavy dose of glossy accents, and I also glossy accented the skull's eyes. I glossy accented the panes of this window, and I put this skull sticker sitting on the windowsill. We did the ghosts together in a video. This one's peeking behind this trellis. This one's flying out and about, and this one you can see flying up, but also from the back you can see him. I love that. We've got, I made these tags to fit into the pocket. Love those. And of course, we centered this border strip on the bottom of the page, and this extra that's hanging over the edges, that's what's going to keep this centered the way we want it to be in the page protector. So on to project 2. The back side of this, I did add this owl sticker to the back of the balloon. Now, the thing that you need to be careful about is you don't want sticker sticking. Remember, we created this so that some of this will cover the base page layer over it. So we can't have any stickers on the back that interfere with that. So if you need to use a little powder to make it unsticky, and here I trimmed off some of the part that was hanging over. Leave that out for now. And I did the same thing over here on the bottom one. I put this cat face sticker on, and I trimmed his little ear so that that sticker part wouldn't interfere with the action of the pocket. I've got a piece of ephemera, again, that I just trimmed and put on either side. And this green bit is a sticker that I trimmed. I put this curious little pumpkin up here. Remember, I've got thumb holes on this page. I'm not going to cut those for you, but I covered my thumb holes with this little sticker, and it's cute, I think, because it's like he's looking at the owl. And then down here, I've got a little piece of the ephemera card. It's in the ephemera kit. Halloween, ye ghost around, and so forth. And then this is a piece of ephemera also, the pumpkin carving. And the right page, we've got the border centered at the bottom. I pop dotted this frog, and this is a piece of ephemera. This is a butterfly sticker that's like coming out of the graveyard. I've got this butterfly stamp and this sticker with a little twine through it. Give me something good to eat. I've got the little coffin photo flaps adhered in the middle. I've got my bats flying around, and we did these together in a video. Originally, I had this one that's flying in the air. I had it over here, but when I layered everything together, you really couldn't see him. So I moved him over here so that you can clearly see him. And I added this owl face so that the eyeballs are peeking through this window. Is that not creepy? So yeah, I lined these two layouts together, made sure everything was the way it's going to be in the page protectors, and I positioned the owl where I wanted him, and then just put adhesive on the back and put him down. So I love that. And then with the owl, I put down the stickers, trick or treat, smell my feet, and down here we've got give me something good to eat. All right, project 3. This page, I just love this paper, and I really wanted to accent this oval print that is on the page. So to me, it looked like a mirror. And so I cut a mirror oval, and then this ghost of an image that you can see in the mirror, I think is pretty fancy. So that goes there, and I'm going to carefully cut your paper, so hopefully it's in the same spot as it is on mine. I've got these 2 photo mats. I've pop dotted this ephemera butterfly, and then this is a sticker butterfly. And this page. I really love how this turned out. We did the extension part together, and in that video and in the written instructions, I've talked about how to do this differently if you don't want your layout to extend out the top of the album. But let's see, I've got this border strip here, and I believe that was done using one of the manufacturer's strips from a piece of paper. And we've centered the bottom border. One thing I'll point out again is these 2 borders are the same. I just flipped one around when I cut it, which could get flipped around in your kit. So just make sure that whatever cross you have on this left side, you have the opposite one on the next page. I adhered down the window photo flaps. I pop dotted these jack-o'-lanterns on the windowsill. We have a video that showed how to do these rooftops. And we have a video showing how to assemble this witch and the broom and to get her a fancy cape. But yeah, I just adhered those on. And on to the last project. I covered the seam where these 2 pieces of paper meet. I've covered that seam with a little border strip that I'm asking you to cut out of leftover paper. It's a 1/2 inch by 8 5/8. I'm sorry to give you weird measurements, but that's how wide this house cut on the Cricut. And then I laid down this ruffly border of crepe paper, and you've got 2 strips of black glitter strips in your kit. One is 8 5/8 and one is 8. So just, make sure that you're using the longer one. I pop dotted this cute little pumpkin, and then I've got this journaling spot with the little boy and the pumpkin. And what a cutie. This is ephemera, and I believe this is ephemera, and this is a sticker. And then the last page, I just love the page design. I took some cuts and adhered them in the middle of the page, laid down the 8-inch black glittery border strip. I tore, there's a strip that I had you cut from the cutting guide, and I tore that in half lengthwise, kind of curled it up on the edges for distressing, and tucked that behind this whole cluster. Laid down the photo mat a little off center, and this jack-o'-lantern is an ephemera piece, and I have pop dotted this bat sticker. And that is it for the embellishments. Now I'm going to go through and show you how to put all of these in page protectors. Starting with this bonus page, I'm going to put all of our layouts in page protectors. I'm going to start by putting this whole project down in a 12 by 12 sheet protector, clear at the very bottom. Now measure your page protector. Some are right at 12 inches wide, and some are actually a little larger. Like this one is more like 12 and a quarter. So I am going to move this on my mat so that it's straight at the bottom, and I'm going to split the difference of where this exceeds 12 inches. Then I want to make sure that I've got this project right in the center of the page protector. So right now this is starting close to 1 inch away. This is only starting about a half an inch away. I need to get that in here better. So it looks like when this is centered, it's in a little over a half an inch, but not quite 3/4. And on this side too, in over a half an inch, but not quite 3/4. That's how I want you to make sure your page is centered in the page protector that you're using. Now I'm going to take a pencil and I am going to mark, which is actually scoring the plastic along the right side from the top of the project to the bottom of the page protector. And the same thing on the left side. I'm going to make a score mark at the end. And then I'm also going to mark where the top of my project is. And my project, I'm going to mark a little off to the each side of the line that I've scored. All right, now this project is 7 inches tall. I don't want all of this excess plastic, but I also don't want to cut it off right at 7 inches because then I wouldn't get my slits the way I want them. I'm going to cut this protector down to 8 inches tall. Okay, now we have a 12 by 8 page protector. And I'm going to cut slits in here so that we can bring our side flap pockets or our side flaps through the slits to the outside of the page protector. All right? So you're going to need a small cutting mat a piece of chipboard, something that you can slip inside the page protector so that you don't cut through to the second layer of plastic. So I'm going to cut just a slight bit to the left of the score line that I've made. I'm going to start at this 7-inch tall mark and cut down to the bottom. Now, my page protector happens to have a seam that's pretty easy. Not all do. If you don't have a seam, just cut down to the bottom, but don't cut into the back page. Now, for the right side of this slit, I'm going to go over a little bit further. I'm going to go about 1/4 inch away from the score line. From the 7-inch mark down to the bottom. And then I'm going to make a little side cut so that I can release this small piece of plastic. Make sure you cut the full 7 inches. I'd hate to have it just a little under and not be able to get the book sat down properly. Okay, so this time I'm gonna cut just slightly to the right of the slit. Oh, better get down here. Yeah. From 7 inches down to the bottom. And then about 1/4 inch to the left of the score line. And there we go. Now I can put the project back in the page protector, and I'm going to feed. Now don't freak out, this is paper. It can bend without creasing. I'm going to feed this flap through this slit. There we go. And I may need to cut a little more at the top, but I think I'm good. And now this side. I'm going to carefully bend it and feed it through the slit. To include the little owl, who is taller, so he's going to be a little trickier. There. And once it gets through, then I can go back and make sure everything is where I want it. Voila! We have our opening side flaps, and our entire project is centered in this page protector. All right, let's go on to project 1. I'm going to slip the whole thing into the page protector. And this is where our graveyard is going to keep this fairly well centered. But we have interactive areas that we need to put in here. I am going to, let's see, how tall is this thing? This is about 10 1/4. I'm probably going to cut off some of the top of this so we don't have so much excess plastic at the top. I am even going to, I'm not going to do it yet. I'm eventually going to adhere the back sides of this border strip with some glue dots. Where this is 12 1/4, I don't want that slipping around. All right, but let's focus on the window and the 2 pockets for now. I am going to make a score line or pencil mark right on this score line for the flap. Okay, and we're going to make a little slit for that. I'm also going to make a mark right here where we have our pocket opening. All right, so let's see. I'm going to cut the top of this page. I'm going to cut this to be an 11-inch high photo mat. And I am going to work on the window slit first. So from where that score line is, I know it's probably impossible to see it from the camera, but I'm going to make the slit a little wider than the actual window. And again, I'm going to cut slightly below and slightly above my score line. There we go. So now we should have plenty of room for our window to be fed through that slit. Now the pockets. Our pockets are 2.5 inches in height. So I want to make sure I leave plenty of space to slip the strips in and out. Now remember, we were a little bit short. We had to pull the bottom pocket down a little bit because of that window. So I'm going to cut right about here down to about 3 inches so that hopefully we have certainly gone past that 2.5 inch opening. And you see that I'm not real careful about making sure I'm exactly straight with my cuts because it doesn't matter. They're not going to show. All right. So I'm going to center this. I'm going to cut 3 inches again with my score line kind of centered. And all right, let's see how I did. I'm going to go ahead and stick some glue dots on the back side of that border strip. All right, as I'm putting the page back in, I'm going to start feeding this window through the slit. And there we go. Yeah, I think these slits are going to be perfect. Now let me move this more centered in the page protector. Okay, it can't be exactly centered because this roof comes out further than, yeah, that's as good as we're gonna get it. And I think my slits are still real good for getting, whoopsie, this way. I'm going to have to come down further. I'm being real careful here. I don't have a mat in my protector. I'm just cutting real lightly so as not to cut the other side. That gravestone being in the sheet protector was preventing me from getting this slide back in. So I had to free the gravestone. Look, I just love it. Okay, let's look at our other side, our other pocket. There, perfect. It overlaps the protector and the page like I wanted it to. It extends a little bit from the house, but not terribly far for getting in the way of binding. I love it. And there is nothing on this side that we need to modify. So this project is complete. Let's go on to project 2. Okay, no interactive stuff on that side, just on this side. Slip the whole thing in. And this one we will be able to center in better. Let's see. I might take about 3/4 of an inch off the top of this sheet protector. Right, this time, I am going to make a score line a little above this corner of the coffin, and then down to this peak. And then I'm going to make a mark down the side of this coffin a little bit past the bottom of the coffin. And I'll do the same thing with this coffin. A little above, get to the peak, and then down the other side, a little past. And like we've been doing, I am going to cut a little bit on each side of the score line. Trimming my ruler. There's a slanty slit for one of our coffins. Now I'll do a slanty slit for the other. All right, and I know it's probably impossible to see exactly what's going on with the clear plastic, but hopefully you're getting the idea. I'm gonna do the same thing with the glue dots. Already wanting to stick. Oh, I was going to cut off 3/4 of an inch at the top, wasn't I? Gotta get my ruler shavings out of here. There we go. Now I'm gonna feed the coffin lids through these slanty slits. And there we have it. And to be honest with you, I didn't even think about this. We don't need glue dots because these slits will hold the page right where we want it. Ta-da! All right. The last page that we have to do something special with. All right, I've got this page in the page protector, and I am going to start at this peak and trace around the edge of this window. And again, I'm going to go a little beyond and a little below to give myself some easement room. A little below. So instead of slanty slits, we're going to have, what would you call these? Rounded slits. They don't really need a name. And this time, because this is a curved edge, I'm just going to not use a ruler and hope for the best. There's one. And if you can hear my stomach growling, I'm very sorry. That's what happens. I get in my craft room and I don't even stop to eat. I just am having so much fun. I got a snag there. There. All right. Got my two curvy slits in there. Feed these windows through. Oh, works perfectly. And there we go. And then, of course, this last page, it just goes in a page protector as usual. So drum roll, please. I cannot wait to see how this actually turns out. With all of our layers. I love it. Absolutely love it.